My name's Jason Kingsley. I'm the CEO of Rebellion, and I guess some people might consider me to be the boss. My brother and I are both games players and games makers. Really, we set the company up as a means to actually make games. I think the danger would have been 25 years ago if we'd planned to get to here. I don't think we'd have achieved it, but it's sort of a nice place to be. We make games for ourselves, we self-fund them, we self-publish, and it means we don't have anybody else telling us how to make games and what to put in them. And our name is Rebellion, and that was always the objective, to actually make our own games, and it's nice to be in that position. At E3 this year we've got Strange Brigade, which is a new IP, which is a 1 to 4 player co-op action adventure puzzle explorer. It doesn't really have a genre. We're making a slight parody of the period, you know, the sort of stiff upper lip and the British thing. We're sort of, as Brits, I think we can probably make fun of ourselves quite well, but it's a sort of knowing, light-hearted take on themes of action and adventure from a period in history when genre was just starting, the Saturday morning picture show. We've also got Rogue Trooper Redux. We're revisiting one of our classic games, a BAFTA-nominated, double BAFTA-nominated game, and we brought the graphics up to speed. We've modified the kind of UI interface, but the gameplay is still rock solid. I think it was one of the first cover shooters, and you can see a lot of other games taking influence from it. I think it was probably a game slightly ahead of its time. Rogue Trooper is based very much on the 2000 AD character, which is, you know, kind of classic piece of British culture from the 1970s, really, and has been in the comic every so often for quite a long time. So I can remember reading Rogue Trooper when I was a boy, so it's lovely to actually see the game come back again. Do you know what? This year has been extraordinarily successful. It's been really exciting to get the first of our own big, fully funded titles out there. The Sniper Elite 4 has been hugely successful. Quite an expensive project for us to make, but has sold incredibly well for us, and hopefully we'll win a few awards with that. You never know, if we're lucky. But nonetheless, we've pleased a lot of players and sold copies of the game worldwide. In fact, recently we've just done a Chinese language version of the game. It's really lovely to think that people around the globe are playing and enjoying the games that we make in the UK. Obviously, the main business of Rebellion is making games, but we publish 2000 AD. We're a weekly comic book, published digitally and physically. We have graphic novel collections from the back catalogue. We recently purchased a whole bunch of classic comics from the Egmont archive, so we're bringing back such classics as The Leopard from Lime Street, One-Eyed Jack, and a whole series of really interesting stories which were officially in girls' comics in the 1970s and 60s. They're really interesting stories from some classic authors, which is great. We are also doing a lot of film and TV work, and we've announced the Judge Dredd TV series. There's a lot happening in the background with that. Nothing to announce or confirm yet, but there's a lot of activity happening and a lot of excitement building up in that, and hopefully that will go into production early next year, I would think. Who knows what the future's going to hold for us? If it goes well with the Dredd TV series, we'll be doing more. We'll be looking at other characters. We'll be looking at our books. We do book publishing as well. Abaddon and Solaris are two of our book imprints, and they're both doing very well. Lastly, what I'd like to do is let you know that there's something we've wanted to do for a long time. It's one of the classic games that we've owned. We get a lot of people asking for what are we doing on this title, and I can now announce that we have people actually working on this project, and we're doing an Evil Genius 2. We've been to every E3 since the first one opened, and this one's been arguably one of the more exciting ones that we've done. We have our own booth here, we're showing lots of people our games. There's a few announcements to make, and I'd just like to thank all those people who are listening, who've turned up to the event, and who've taken the time to see the kind of games that we make. And long may they keep playing our titles.